I was still pretty murky on the underlying meaning the king wanted me to find here, and I never wanted this meeting with him to end, so I kept the questions rolling. I'm guessing you showed me this vision so I wouldn't want that other life. Is that why you didn't give me my heart's desire? You still don't understand the meaning behind Psalm 37:4. He paused, giving me a few seconds to ponder this. What is my greatest command to you? To love you, Lord. To love you with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. Then why do you still presume that your heart should desire anything more than to love me? Immediately I fell on my face in fear of the one who spoke words that sounded so close to condemnation. And yet still the unreasonable response of defensiveness overcame me. This went against everything I had believed about that verse. But this was the one who had put it on the heart of David to pen those words. I was foolish for second-guessing him. But the emotion was keeping me from thinking clearly, making my thoughts cloudy and difficult to see through. I took a deep breath and my thoughts began to calm with my body. Usually I take a while to get spiritual truth, but this time it came fast, like a speeding bullet. Bam! The great pang of conviction and the sweet release of truth overcame me at once. On one hand, I felt completely guilty for ever putting my desire to be a professional musician above my desire for him, and stupid for not understanding that that is what I was doing. But I also felt freer now that I understood the truth that not only were there no answers in becoming a professional musician, but also that all the answers were in Christ. I knew this truth previously, but it was as if the last thread was cut from anything else that I held on to but God, and for the first time He was truly my greatest treasure. The world could have music, fame, success, whatever. I had something so much better. It had never made so much sense as it did right then. Even though I had said it many times before, Jesus was finally, sincerely all my heart was longing for. And my heart was made complete as I worshiped the one I was created to worship. It was like I was truly worshiping for the first time. As I stood there, taking in all that was happening, I had lost track of time. It must have been a few minutes at least. Finally, I gathered the courage to speak. Forgive me, my King. I see now. You are the greatest worth. You are the greatest joy. From you and in you, all freedom of true life flows. Music is nothing. You are everything. Emotion gripped me, forcing me to pause and struggle as I forced the next words out. I didn't know I was putting music ahead of you in my heart all this time. Thank you for freeing me from this bondage. You said you wanted to have the greatest impact on this world for my glory that you possibly could, right? Caught completely off guard and wiping my tear-stained face, I said, well, yes, but that doesn't matter now. It's all about you. You aren't getting the full picture, Garrett, because that is exactly what I've done for you. He paused to give me time to comprehend. You continued to think that I took your dream from you when I did the opposite. I blessed you with a life path that would have the greatest impact on this world for my glory. It just wasn't what you pictured it would be. That didn't make any sense to me at all. What? But I was just a worship pastor of a small church. I don't understand, Lord. I showed you both visions for many reasons. Some you will not realize for many years. But one of those reasons is because you needed to see what true impact was. He paused to give me time to think. This was getting to be a routine. I started to feel bad for the infinitely brilliant person who was talking to me, but I was very thankful he was willing to spell it out. If you would become a musician, millions of people would have heard your music and enjoyed it. Thousands of hearts would have been affected on the surface, and a few lives would have been changed for my glory. But as you saw, your prayer life was never developed, and our relationship never amounted to much, so your ministry would have amounted to little. But in the life I gave you, you accomplished much more for my glory. You invested more time in fewer lives with a much greater eternal gain. You had a deep impact on the heart of hundreds who came through your church. Your discipleship of those 5 men for the last 20 years has already produced great fruit for my kingdom's purpose. You were made able to lead your family to love and joy in me. And in our relationship, I have helped you to find me and dive into the great oceans of wisdom and joy found in my presence. Over the generations, your life will reap a harvest of souls 1,000 times greater than if you had become a musician. I blessed you with a life path that would have the greatest impact for my glory. I answered your prayer. You are serving me well. And Garrett, you do make me smile. He smiled with my favorite smile. The song, he heard me. I wrote a song before I got signed to the record label. It was probably the most honest song I ever wrote, and Jesus was responding to it. The song went like this: "Oh Lord, can we talk for a while? I got some questions today. Oh Lord, do I make you smile? Or do I cause you pain? I really don't know how to find out, 'cause I've never seen your face. But if there's one thing I could ask for, I want to make you smile today. I want to make you smile, oh Lord. If you could find pleasure in me, I want to make you smile, oh God, as I worship and sing. I want to make you smile, oh Lord, as I find my treasure in thee. I want to make you smile, oh Jesus. I just want to please you, my King." You do make me smile. That's what he'd said. Elation filled my soul. These were the words I dreamed of hearing all my life. There may have been a part of my heart that wanted music over the life I'd lived, but even that part of my heart wanted it for his glory. I knew in my heart of hearts the one thing I had wanted more than anything ever since I became a Christian was to know that God was pleased with me. And this was Jesus' way of telling me that he was actually pleased with me, Garrett, worship leader of a small church in New England. My heart was overcome with joy that I could not keep inside. I shouted, not in words. It was just a shout, a very loud expression of what words could not touch. I thought my soul would burst with joy that flowed through it. I stood and I clung to my Jesus. I hugged him with all I was worth. I cried and I cried. This may not have been the most reverent act, but it was the greatest way I could show my love to him who had just made all my dreams come true. I love you, Garrett. I'm glad you won't hurt anymore, and I'm glad you understand. I am the source of your joy and the one your heart craves most. Only I can satisfy you. I let go of my tight grasp on him, only to look him in the face. Thank you for your grace that reaches so far above what I deserve. I could never say thank you enough. I could never say I love you enough. I was rambling now, the way a person may do with their hero in a celebrity-struck stupor. But my rambling was truth and adoration of Jesus. I dare say that's the best kind of rambling. Plus the fact that I knew he was getting ready to say goodbye, and I was beginning to panic. He smiled in recognition of what I had said. Then with a deeper stare into my eyes, causing me to look back, he said, There is one more thing. For some time now, you have wondered why I blessed you with a more creative nature when I didn't allow you to become a musician. In his pause of grace, I remembered that he was right. Although this question had not crossed my mind since he had begun the conversation. Yeah. Without any better retort, I said, "But I don't understand. Will you help me?" I created you to be creative so that you would dive deeper into the depths of my heart and love. You searched for me with all of your heart, and I fulfilled my promise in allowing you to find me and understand a different side of me than others would. Also, this has helped you in the context of the ministry I've given you. But I've always wanted you to continue writing music. I gave you that gift for a reason." His tone was not accusatory, but rather he seemed like he just wanted me to understand. I remembered how I stopped writing music shortly after my career as a musician went down the drain. And ever since, when I tried to write songs, I couldn't get past the pain. Thankfully, that wouldn't be a problem anymore. It wasn't just because of the pain. Jesus was actually responding to my thoughts. Until now, you didn't write music because you didn't think anyone would hear it. But I never wanted you to write it for them. Write songs for me. Whether anyone else hears them or not, write them for the glory of your King. Wow. The truth of this statement stung. That was the main reason why I wanted to write music, so that others would hear. But the flip side of this truth, that I should be, and now would be, writing songs for the one that I loved more than any other, was empowering and gave me great hope for picking up where I left off in writing music. Another problem occurred to me. I'm 60 years old. I haven't written music for 40 years. I have little time left on this earth. What can I do now? You still have some time. Just remember what you've learned here with me. Jesus turned around and began to walk away. Panic ensued my mind. I began to run after him, but my foot got caught on a tree root and I face planted. Not the graceful impression I would like to leave with Jesus, but typical of a rather clumsy 60-year-old man. As a last resort, I was able to reach out and grab his foot, holding on as tight as I could. Here I was on my face once again, this time unintentionally, and I was holding on to his leg like a child trying to keep his daddy from leaving for work. But I didn't care how desperate I must have looked. All I knew was I wanted him to stay with me. He was what I needed, and I wouldn't let him go. "Don't go," I pleaded. "The Helper lives inside you. You are not without. Remember John 16:7. I will see you again, Garrett. I love you more than you could possibly understand. It's time for you to wake up." Blink, blink. Just like that, I was awake, no longer dreaming of Jesus. It took me about an hour to snap out of feeling sorry for myself, that I was no longer in the physical presence of my King. But after I did, I thought through all the amazing things that were just revealed to me, and I was overcome with joy again.